Good morning and welcome to Keswick. Today we are here to see this wonderful guest house and we are positioned right in the centre of Keswick, overlooking the park and the fabulous mountains in the distance. Now the property that you see behind us has 14 bedrooms which are all beautifully appointed and in absolutely lovely decoration. This is a really popular location. And obviously anybody that knows Keswick knows it. It's absolutely buzzing all of the time. But the building that you see behind us is absolutely huge, and it's a significant piece of architecture for this area. Now, the views from almost every window are over towards the mountains, over parkland, and it is an absolutely stunning location. Now, when we enter the property, you'll realise that there's all sorts of resources which are there, which have the potential for expansion as time progresses. Now, the ground floor level of the building has a quite significant restaurant space which isn't currently being used. Now has the potential for probably between 40 and 50 covers, and it's just such a great space with majestic views out that it will be a real addition to this type of property. So it does really give the chance for you to maybe use that as an extra part of a facility for the space, or for it to be sublet to be able to add an extra increased turnover for this wonderful property which isn't currently being used. So when we go inside, you'll see that all of the rooms are light, bright and airy. The furniture and finish is exemplary, and you can understand why this place is pretty much fully booked all of the time. So I'll turn around now, give you a bit of an understanding of how things lay out and how the property sits. But this also comes with a 3-bedroom owner's accommodation. So anybody looking for a new challenge, a live-work environment in a building which has been used well and well maintained, well, look no further, because this is a very exciting opportunity. So I'm going to turn around, show you a bit of the local area, and hopefully you like what you see. Okay, so just to show you a little bit of the local area. Obviously this is the lovely guest house that we've got over here. We've got a nice cafe, kiosk and ice cream shop which is just next door. And we're obviously right next to the park. And as you can see, if you follow this path up, this then takes you to the theatre and then takes you down towards Derwent Water and all of those spectacular mountain views which are in pretty much every single direction that you look. Right, so it's now time to be able to go inside and have a look at the property, and hopefully this exciting building will give you a good glimpse as to what you can do in this great live-work environment. So starting at the front here, well, I'm going to have to pan up. It's such a big building, but we're set over a few floors, and again in this wonderful location which is perfectly set for every tourist from all over the world that would want to come and stay in such a lovely facility. So let's start off here. So we've got nice slate steps that lead up into the entrance hall. As you can see, there's a 5-star TripAdvisor award which shows the standard that's been started here. As we come into the main entrance, there's a lovely waiting area here which is perfect for when the guests arrive, and a really comfortable space, a really inviting start to being able to come into this building. You'll notice throughout there's lovely bay windows everywhere and these spectacular views which I'm very excited to show you. We've got a nice area here for making sure that the reception is inviting for your guests to come. Now, I'm not going to take you down there because there's quite a lot to see, but we have a wonderful 3-bedroom flat downstairs. Now, it's not a small place, it's very substantial. So as living accommodation, it's more than comfortable for a family to be able to live there, whilst instead of utilising too many of the rooms upstairs, but that will be open to the person that looks to buy here. So as we come into here, now this is something that I discussed outside. What we've got is a wonderful restaurant space, and it's fully independent from the actual main residence itself. But just to give you an idea, if you were looking to come for a night out, or even for a day out if you were looking for a coffee shop or something like that, the position for this is fantastic. But I think the real key lays in this as being maybe a 40 or 50 cover restaurant, so that you can have that wonderful, lovely food in such a beautiful destination. But that also comes with the fact that upstairs there are 14 bedrooms, and it could almost be self-filling because you've got so many residents that are going to be looking to stay. I mean, I'll glance in here. There's a pot wash in here, and we've got a commercial kitchen, which is perfectly usable. And if I was a chef looking out the window with these views every day, that would be quite inspiring. But we've got a really nice commercial kitchen, which has got everything you could possibly need. And I think it more than covers the amount of clients that you could have come through. And I think it's very usable. Out here, which is quite interesting, we have another door, which is an access into it. So when I was thinking through this, you could have this entire restaurant area as a completely separate entity, which is fed by some of the customers that want to stay here in some of the fabulous rooms, but equally could be let out to a somebody that maybe has more experience in the restaurant industry, that would maybe want to lease this as a supplementary income. There's a lot to think about. I mean, having trained as a chef many, many years ago, the thoughts of being able to run this as an amazing restaurant very, very much excite me. And I can see as a benefit to the actual guest house itself, it's quite an amazing addition. So, if you haven't gathered, I'm very food passionate, and this gets me quite excited. So I can see all the benefits of what this could produce for the new owners of this lovely place. So now I'm going to take you upstairs. I'm not going to show you all of the rooms, or otherwise I'd be here for hours, and I don't think that will benefit you, because I think whoever is looking or intent on wanting to purchase this is going to want to come and look at this in nice fine detail to be able to show what it can provide. We've got a little seating area up here, which is quite lovely. And I am going to take you to see a few rooms on this floor. And I'm going to save this one till last because it's absolutely belting, and I want to show you that last. So all of the rooms are furnished to a very high standard. The retention for people coming back is quite high. And you can see that by, I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows in one room. And those 5 windows happen to overlook all of this stunning mountain range whilst you get to sleep in this wonderful accommodation. I mean, it's absolutely lovely. Every room, all 14 have an ensuite accommodation. Sorry, an ensuite in their accommodation. And all of the ensuites are done to a lovely standard. Now, the refurbishment on this building was done a few years ago, but it was done by Latimer Homes, which are an incredibly well-known luxury homes builder. So as such, when you look at things like door furnishings and the quality of doors and the way that things have been finished, you know this has been done to an incredible standard. Okay, so let's go and have a look at a few more rooms. So in here, we've got, again, another big bay window, plenty of light. That's one thing that this place doesn't suffer with at all. The light is fantastic. We're on a nice sunny day and the sun is beaming through. The view out, again, spectacular. I'm just going to zoom in because this is absolutely stunning. If you wouldn't like to wake up to that every morning while you're staying here as a guest, well, I'd be absolutely gobsmacked. And then we come in here, another ensuite, but a slightly different style. I really like that pedestal here with the freestanding sink. That's quite lovely. Wardrobe space. Again, if you're coming to stay in the wonderful Lake District, especially into Keswick, how would you not love this room as a place to stay? Now, as I said, I'm going to show you this last because it is a spectacular room. But then we come on to another beautiful room, and they're huge. They're really big. I mean, these beds obviously clearly are either Emperor or Super King because they're a fantastic size. and you've got nice seating areas. Everything's been done beautifully. And your view out of here is over towards the town and over towards the mountains again. But what an absolutely fantastic space. Bit of a storage over here, and then a rather substantial ensuite, complete with a freestanding bath and absolutely loads of space. This is opulence, and I think this is a word that I really should throw into the mix. It is opulent. It feels opulent. I've stayed in so many different five-star hotels, and it's very hard to actually beat that when you have a room like this. And this is one of the premium rooms in the property, but we've not got one window. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in one room. A stunning seating area, and even space for a vast bed. And I'm even going to be cheeky enough to take a little seat here to see what my view out would be as a guest. And my view out every day would be over those absolutely breathtaking views. Makes me want to go on holiday. So we have another ensuite, again beautifully appointed. There is zero that needs to be done in order for you to take this opportunity and let guests in. There will be bookings in advance, so that means that you can start and hit the ground running. The position of this place and the position of the rooms and the outward look are just honestly something to behold. Now, even if you're not looking, I would recommend booking here for a holiday, because it's a great position and obviously in a fantastic place. So I'm going to go back downstairs now. Now there are 2 more floors above here with other rooms which are all very different. I mean, and that was the other thing that struck me the first time I came, is that you don't just have a mirror image room as if you were going to a Premier Inn. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but this does give you that difference that keeps you unique. And when you're looking to go on holiday, you're not usually just looking for the most ordinary, most mundane. You want something with a bit of character and a bit of difference. Now, all of the rooms in here, they give you that, and they give you that in bucket loads. But I'm going to labour on this point as well. So now I want to talk about the nuts and bolts. We've got a very well-run, substantial guest house. And that property in its entirety is quite substantial. We'll give you a square footage of that at a bit later date. But we have this section of it, and I mean, the return for this place already is quite significant. But if this was something that you wanted to get yourself into, the restaurant side of things could produce a very large 6-figure sum as a turnover within a very short space of time, because you're right in the mix of everything. Now, that means that a good profitable business can already, with a very small amount of alteration, bring in a significant amount more, which means that any investment that you look at is going to be brought back and rewarded very quickly, especially in this position. Now, I'm going to wander out, which I don't usually do, but I'm going to wander back out of here for a moment, just to really give the scope as to where we are. Because this over here is Keswick Town Centre. This over here is Derwentwater and the fantastic mountains. Everything around you is built and designed really over the years with tourism in mind, because this is where people want to come. So you have an existing guest house which has been done to a beautiful standard by a very, very reputable builder. There are 14 rooms, but there is also the chance to be able to consider breaking some of those rooms and joining them to be able to make them suites. Now, I'm going to wander back inside to be able to discuss this so it makes a little bit of sense. The market for larger accommodation, especially to be able to support more than 2 people, is quite significant. And being a family man myself with a couple of kids, it's important for me to be able to book accommodation that actually gives me that flexibility to be able to have my children staying with me. But I'm prepared to pay for that. And that means that the rooms that we've got, instead of there being a single occupancy, if some of the rooms were merged together to be able to create larger accommodation, what you would have is the same financial return, but for less rooms, which means less work. And that means the quantity of people staying would be the same, but you won't have as much individual rooms turning over. So there's an opportunity there. Now, there is so much space. What it's being used for now is profitable and works well. You have the restaurant side of things, which in my opinion would be crazy not to utilize. And you have these views in every direction that are going to go nowhere. So if you are looking for a lifestyle opportunity or a business opportunity or to do something different, well, I can think of worse places than this to be working. And the fact that it's an existing business with its own clientele means you are up and running from the day you walk through the door. That's a bit of a brief view. So hopefully you like what you have seen. And if you would like to discuss this further and book a viewing, please do give me a call on 01768 881111 or on 01900 8222200. Thank you.